Croatia from above, a nation shaped by sea and stone, a land of medieval walls, sunlit seas, ancient seafarers, and enduring traditions, is more than just a picturesque European destination. It's a story written in stone and sea. Fly over its coastline, and you'll see an unbroken ribbon of land unfurling along the eastern edge of the Adriatic, fringed with glittering waves and crowned by no fewer than 1,244 islands, islets, and reefs. It's a staggering number, especially for a nation of just over 56,000 square kilometers, smaller than West Virginia or Denmark. And yet, each of these islands contributes a chapter to the larger Croatian story. Only 48 of these islands are permanently inhabited, preserving a sense of untouched, wild charm across the archipelago. Many are unspoiled havens, their landscapes shaped more by wind and time than by human hands. Some, like Vis and Mljet, feel like timeless sanctuaries, while others, such as Hvar and Brač, pulse with energy and sun-drenched elegance. From the air, the coastline seems to dance in and out of the sea, rocky capes, secluded coves, and ancient port towns mirroring the rhythm of history. It's no wonder, then, that over 21 million tourists visit Croatia every year, more than 5 times the size of its resident population. But what draws people here isn't only the beaches or the sunshine. Beneath the postcard-perfect surface lies a richly layered nation shaped by centuries of conquest, creativity, and resilience. From the Illyrians and Romans to Venetians, Ottomans, and Habsburgs, the country has absorbed and adapted a tapestry of influences. The result? A culture that feels simultaneously Mediterranean and Central European, Latin and Slavic, ancient and forward-looking. Croatia is divided into 5 historical and cultural regions. Central Croatia, where Baroque towns and lush plains speak of Austro-Hungarian refinement. Slavonia, the breadbasket of the country, with golden fields and age-old folk festivals. Istria, a trilingual peninsula that feels like Italy's quieter cousin. Dalmatia, a stretch of coast where each stone tells a tale and every bay hides a secret. And Zagreb, the vibrant, beating heart of it all, a capital that blends Austro-Hungarian elegance with Balkan warmth and flair. Traveling through Croatia feels like leafing through a well-written novel. Each page reveals a new tone, a new flavor, a new dialect. In just a few hours' drive, you can go from speaking with someone in Kajkavian, hearing Italian in Istria, to sharing rakija with a fisherman in Dalmatia, all in the same day. Fascinating facts about Croatia, the country of curious contrasts. Croatia's size may be modest, but its cultural and natural wealth is anything but. Here are just a few of the many reasons why this country is so captivating. 1. A wine country with ancient roots. Croatia produces over 1,000 varieties of wine, many of which trace their lineage back to Greek and Roman times. The Pelješac Peninsula, for instance, is home to Dingač, a robust red wine made from Plavac Mali, a grape that's genetically related to California's Zinfandel. In Istria, white wines like Malvasia Istarska pair beautifully with truffle dishes, while Dalmatia's island wines, grown on sun-drenched terraces that plunge into the sea, have a minerality that's hard to replicate anywhere else in the world. 2. Nature's bounty, national and nature parks. Croatia has taken great steps to preserve its rich ecosystems. The country is home to 8 national parks and 11 nature parks, covering over 10% of its territory. This protected land ranges from alpine forests and river canyons to karst landscapes and marine reserves. Plitvice Lakes and Krka National Park are perhaps the most famous, but places like Paklenica, Rizenjak, and Mljet National Park offer equally unforgettable experiences, especially for hikers, birdwatchers, and divers. 3. A language of many voices. Though Croatian is the official language, it is spoken in 3 main dialects: Shtokavian, Kajkavian, and Chakavian. These dialects go beyond regional accents. They differ in vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation to such a degree that they can feel like separate languages. Shtokavian, for example, forms the basis of standard Croatian and is spoken in most of the country. Kajkavian, heard in northern regions like Zagreb and Varaždin, is closer to Slovenian, while Chakavian, spoken along the coast and on the islands, preserves many archaic Slavic features. 4. The necktie, a Croatian invention. Believe it or not, the necktie, the universal symbol of formal elegance, originated from Croatian soldiers. In the 17th century, Croatian mercenaries wore distinctive knotted scarves around their necks while serving in the French army. This style caught the attention of the Parisians, who dubbed the fashion à la Croate, giving rise to the word cravat, and eventually the modern tie. Today, Cravat Day is celebrated every October 18th in Croatia. 5th, Dalmatian dogs and their namesake region. The elegant and energetic Dalmatian breed takes its name from Croatia's Dalmatian coast, where it was first documented in the 17th century. Often seen in historical artworks and manuscripts from the region, Dalmatians were bred as carriage dogs and companions. Their distinctive black and white spots are now one of the most iconic animal patterns in the world. 6. An educated nation with a literary soul. Croatia boasts a literacy rate of 99.3%, among the highest in the world. The country places great value on education, with a strong literary tradition dating back to the Glagolitic script, one of the oldest known Slavic alphabets. The city of Zadar is home to one of the earliest Slavic universities, while Dubrovnik once rivaled Venice as a center for Renaissance learning and diplomacy. 7. A treasure trove of UNESCO sites. For a nation of under 4 million people, Croatia has an impressive 10 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, ranging from natural wonders like Plitvice Lakes to cultural landmarks like Diocletian's Palace in Split and the Stari Grad Plain on Hvar, an agricultural landscape that's been farmed continuously for 2,400 years. Plitvice Lakes National Park, a symphony of water and forest. In the mountainous heart of Croatia lies one of Europe's greatest natural treasures, Plitvice Lakes National Park. Spanning nearly 300 square kilometers, this UNESCO World Heritage Site is a cascading, living artwork of 16 interlinked lakes, joined by over 90 waterfalls and flowing in steps from one to the next like a stairway carved by the gods. The waters are so pure and clear they appear almost unreal, radiating hues of emerald, jade, aquamarine, and deep sapphire, depending on the light, the minerals, and even the angle of view. What makes Plitvice exceptional is not just its beauty, but its constantly evolving geography. The waterfalls and natural dams are created by tufa, a porous rock that forms as calcium carbonate precipitates out of the mineral-rich water. This means the lakes are living organisms, reshaping themselves over time as mosses, algae, and microorganisms build up new barriers and change water flow. Few places on Earth display geology as visibly alive. The park's biodiversity is just as enchanting. Dense beech and fir forests are home to lynxes, wolves, wild cats, and one of the last populations of brown bears in Central Europe. Over 120 bird species, from kingfishers to golden eagles, animate the air with song. More than 1,400 plant species, including several endemic orchids, flourish along the trails. Visitors can explore Plitvice via a system of wooden boardwalks and well-marked hiking paths that curve gracefully above and alongside the lakes. Electric boats glide silently across the largest lake, Kozjak, while panoramic trains offer stunning viewpoints for those less inclined to hike. Spring fills the forest with blooms, summer paints the park in vibrant greens, autumn turns the leaves into gold, and winter coats the waterfalls in shimmering ice, creating a silent, frozen kingdom. Whether you're trekking along Veliki Slap, the park's tallest waterfall, or marveling at the mirror-like reflections of the trees in Milanovac Lake, Plitvice offers a multi-sensory immersion into one of Europe's most enchanting natural sanctuaries. Hvar, Lavender Island and Adriatic Jewel. Set in the sun-kissed embrace of the Adriatic Sea, Hvar is more than just an island. It's an experience that lingers in memory like the scent of its legendary lavender fields. With over 2,800 hours of sunshine annually, Hvar is Croatia's sunniest island, earning it a reputation as both a hedonistic hotspot and a tranquil retreat, depending on where you go. The town of Hvar, the island's cultural and economic hub, is a harmonious blend of ancient architecture and Mediterranean glamour. At its center is St. Stephen's Square, one of the largest and most elegant in Dalmatia. The Renaissance-era Cathedral of St. Stephen stands proudly at the far end, while polished white stone reflects the sunlight into every corner, creating a luminous atmosphere. Strolling through the cobblestone alleys, you'll pass quaint courtyards, boutique galleries, and family-run konobas serving grilled fish and local Bogdanuša wine. Climb up to the Spanjola Fortress, perched above the town, and you'll be rewarded with panoramic views of the Pakleni Islands, a sprinkling of pine-covered islets scattered like green gems across a blue canvas. These islands are perfect for boating, swimming, and discovering secret coves where time seems to stop. But Hvar's soul isn't confined to its town. In the interior, ancient dry stone walls snake across hillsides lined with vineyards and olive groves. The scent of rosemary, sage, and wild herbs perfumes the air. In June and July, the lavender fields near Velograblia and Brucia explode in purple hues, attracting photographers, bees, and travelers alike. Hvar is also a land of historic depth. The theater in Hvar town, built in 1612, is one of the oldest surviving public theaters in Europe. And further inland lies Stari Grad, the island's oldest settlement, founded by the Greeks in 384 BC. Its surrounding Stari Grad Plain, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, still follows the same agricultural layout the Greeks devised more than 2 millennia ago. By night, Hvar transforms. Its waterfront promenade comes alive with music, laughter, and the glow of lanterns reflecting on the water. Fine dining restaurants, cocktail bars, and world-class beach clubs host an international crowd. Yet just a few kilometers away, you can find absolute peace under star-filled skies. Whether you seek sun, culture, serenity, or celebration, Hvar offers it in abundance, wrapped in beauty, steeped in history, and always kissed by light. Dubrovnik, the walled wonder of the Adriatic. Dubrovnik, often called the Pearl of the Adriatic, is a city of stone and sea, of battlements, bell towers, and blindingly white limestone polished by centuries of footsteps. Nestled along the Dalmatian coast, this UNESCO World Heritage Site is one of the most iconic cities in the Mediterranean, and arguably one of the most beautiful fortified towns in the world. What sets Dubrovnik apart isn't just its postcard-perfect aesthetic, but the living history contained within its ancient city walls, which encircle the old town in a near-complete 2-kilometer loop. First built in the 10th century and expanded over time, these walls rise up to 25 meters high in some sections and are punctuated by towers and bastions, offering spectacular views over the Adriatic Sea, the red-tiled roofs of the city, and the distant Elefiti Islands. Within the walls lies a marvel of urban planning. The city's main artery, Stradun, stretches like a marble ribbon through the heart of town. It's flanked by 17th century townhouses and dotted with fountains, churches, and cafes. Onofrio's fountain, built in 1438, once served as a key part of the city's aqueduct system and still refreshes travelers today. The Franciscan monastery, nearby, houses one of the oldest functioning pharmacies in Europe, in operation since 1317. Walk further and you'll encounter the Rector's Palace, a masterpiece of Gothic Renaissance architecture, once home to the elected head of the Dubrovnik Republic. The city's Baroque cathedral, dedicated to the Assumption of Mary, shelters paintings by Titian and relics of Saint Blaise, the city's patron saint. Each structure whispers of Dubrovnik's days as an independent republic, the Republic of Ragusa, which flourished from the 14th to 19th century, rivaling Venice in wealth and diplomacy. But Dubrovnik is not trapped in its past. Today, it pulses with energy. Its stone walls have famously doubled as King's Landing in Game of Thrones, drawing a new wave of curious travelers. Cafes serve Hvar and Brač, black risotto, shops sell hand-embroidered linens, and local artists sell paintings in tucked-away galleries. During summer, the Dubrovnik Summer Festival turns squares and fortresses into open-air stages for concerts, theater, and dance. Yet perhaps the city's most magical moment comes at sunset. As the sun dips below the Adriatic, golden light bathes the rooftops, and the sea glows like molten metal. From the top of Mount Surge, accessible by cable car, the whole city unfolds below, a mosaic of past and present, nestled between mountains and sea. Dubrovnik is not just a destination, it is a revelation. Kornati Islands, the stone lace of the Adriatic. The Kornati Islands are not merely a destination, they are a phenomenon. Scattered like ancient breadcrumbs across the Adriatic Sea, this archipelago of 140 islands, islets, and reefs forms a surreal seascape between Zadar and Šibenik. Designated as Kornati National Park in 1980, the area encompasses 89 of the islands and covers over 220 square kilometers, most of it sea. With their stark limestone surfaces, wind-sculpted cliffs, and turquoise channels, the Kornati are often described as nautical heaven, and for good reason. Unlike other Croatian islands, the Kornati have no permanent settlements. The landscape here is raw, stripped of excess, where karst rock dominates and vegetation is sparse. Yet in this apparent barrenness lies immense beauty. From above, the islands appear like shards of bone or fossilized leaves floating in crystal-clear waters. Their silhouettes are jagged, their coastlines dramatically indented, and their cliffs, some plunging over 80 meters straight into the sea, are among the most majestic in the Mediterranean. This is a place of paradox, wild yet carefully managed. Though the land seems deserted, many families from Murder and other nearby coastal towns maintain stone shelters here for fishing, olive growing, or seasonal grazing. Dry stone walls, built without mortar, crisscross the islands, bearing silent witness to centuries of human effort to tame the untamable. The underwater world of Kornati is equally mesmerizing. The sea here is a sanctuary for dolphins, sea turtles, corals, and over 300 species of fish. Scuba divers flock to Kornati for its drop-offs, tunnels, and reefs, which harbor vivid marine life. Boaters, too, revere the islands for their sheltered coves, natural harbors, and infinite anchorage possibilities. In many ways, the Kornati are a place of introspection. There are no roads, no towns, and few signs of modern life. What you bring in, you must take out. To explore Kornati is to surrender to nature's rhythm, the rise and fall of the waves, the song of the wind, the rustle of grasses hardened by the sun. Sailing among these isles, with only seabirds and silence as your companions, is not just travel. It's a return to something elemental. Zadar, where time meets innovation. Zadar, perched on a peninsula on Croatia's central coast, is one of those rare cities where history and modernity don't just coexist. They inspire one another. With roots stretching back over 3,000 years, Zadar has been Illyrian, Roman, Byzantine, Venetian, and Austrian. Yet today, it is just as known for two groundbreaking modern art installations as it is for its ancient Roman forum, the sea organ and the greeting to the sun. The historic core of Zadar is enclosed by imposing Venetian fortifications and entered through the land gate, adorned with a winged lion, the emblem of Venice. Inside, the streets gleam with white Dalmatian stone. Here, Roman ruins blend into medieval churches, and Byzantine mosaics glint in the sunlight. The Church of St. Donatus, a massive 9th century pre-Romanesque building, towers beside the remains of a Roman forum, forming an architectural dialogue that spans centuries. Walk a few steps toward the water and you'll encounter something extraordinary: the sea organ, Morske Orgulje. Designed by architect Nikola Basic in 2005, this musical installation uses wave-powered pipes embedded under marble steps to produce haunting, harmonious tones. Each wave composes a unique melody, turning the sea into a living orchestra. Just beyond lies the Greeting to the Sun, another Basic creation. This circle of solar panels soaks up sunlight during the day, then lights up at night in a vibrant LED display synchronized with the sea organ's soundscape. Zadar is also a city of vibrant everyday life. Local markets bustle with vendors selling figs, lavender, cheese, and the famous maraschino liqueur, a cherry-based spirit first distilled here in the 16th century. Along the Riva, the city's seafront promenade, locals gather at sunset, often considered one of the most beautiful in the world, a claim once endorsed by Alfred Hitchcock himself during his 1964 visit. Culturally, Zadar is alive with festivals, music, and art. The musical evenings in St. Donatus, held each summer, transform ancient spaces into concert halls, while galleries and museums celebrate everything from glassblowing to digital innovation. In Zadar, the ancient and the experimental meet with grace. It is a city that whispers old secrets in Latin and chants futuristic hymns in sea-powered tones, inviting all who visit to listen closely. Krka National Park, waterfalls, wilderness, and wonder. While often compared to Plitvice for its waterfalls, Krka National Park is a different kind of paradise, one where culture and nature intertwine along the serpentine flow of the Krka River. Located just inland from Šibenik in central Dalmatia, this 109 square kilometer park is named after the river that defines it. Krka cuts through deep canyons, descends over 7 dramatic waterfalls, and finally empties into the Adriatic, offering a continually shifting landscape of water, forest, and stone. The park's most iconic site is Skredinsky Buk, a sweeping semicircular waterfall comprising 17 natural cascades that stretch over 800 meters in length. Unlike at Plitvice, visitors are allowed to swim in designated areas near the lower pools of Skredinsky Buk, making Krka not just a feast for the eyes, but a full-body immersion in pristine nature. But Krka is not only about waterfalls. The park protects a wide range of biodiversity, including over 850 plant species, rare birds like eagles and herons, and aquatic creatures such as otters and endemic fish. Walking trails, wooden bridges, and boat rides take visitors through a landscape of contrasts: open meadows, dark forests, and riverbanks where time moves slowly. Tucked away within the park are cultural gems, too. On Visovac Island, rising like a vision from the lake, stands a 15th century Franciscan monastery surrounded by manicured gardens. It houses a museum, a historic library, and priceless religious artifacts. Further upstream is the Krka Monastery, a spiritual stronghold of the Serbian Orthodox Church, nestled between ancient plane trees. Krka is also a site of historical innovation. Along the river are restored watermills that once powered local communities, now turned into interpretive exhibits. Here, you can see how grains were ground, fabrics were washed, and food was prepared, revealing a past where nature's energy shaped daily life. Whether you're hiking its shaded trails, gliding down its river in a boat, or marveling at waterfalls that seem pulled from a fantasy novel, Krka offers an experience that's both elemental and enriching. It's a place where water carves not just land, but memory, leaving every visitor changed by its serenity and strength. Rovinj, romance and stone on the Istrian coast. On the western shores of the Istrian peninsula, Rovinj rises from the sea like a dream cast in stone. Once a tiny island connected to the mainland only in the 18th century, Rovinj today feels like a living postcard, a harmonious blend of pastel facades, cobbled streets, and a skyline crowned by a hilltop church. Its Venetian heritage is immediately apparent in its architecture, rhythm, and language. Street signs are bilingual in Croatian and Italian, and you'll hear both languages spoken in the markets and cafes. At the summit stands the Church of St. Euphemia, a Baroque masterpiece dedicated to the town's patron saint. Its tall bell tower, modeled after St. Mark's Campanile in Venice, offers panoramic views over the terracotta roofs and sparkling Adriatic beyond. According to legend, St. Euphemia's remains miraculously washed ashore here in a marble sarcophagus in the year 800, and today her relics are enshrined within the church, making it both a pilgrimage site and a symbol of Rovinj's enduring faith. The old town unfolds below like a spiral shell, with narrow alleyways winding between tall stone houses that lean close together, their shutters painted in hues of green and blue. Clotheslines stretch overhead, and cats lounge lazily in the sun. Along the Grisia, Rovinj's most famous street, local artists display paintings, wood carvings, and ceramics. In July, the street transforms into a vibrant open-air gallery during the Grisia Art Festival, attracting creatives from across Europe. The harbor is a scene of everyday magic. Wooden fishing boats bob gently next to sleek yachts, and the smell of grilled calamari wafts from the conibus lining the waterfront. Just off the coast, the Red Island, Crveni Otok, beckons with pine forests, hidden beaches, and a 6th century Benedictine monastery. Beyond its beauty, Rovin is deeply connected to nature and wellness. The surrounding Golden Cape Forest Park, Zlatni RT, is a haven for cycling, jogging, and cliff diving. Protected since 1890, it reflects the city's long tradition of eco-conscious tourism. The clear waters, mild climate, and mineral-rich sea air have made Rovinj a spa destination since the Austro-Hungarian era. Elegant yet authentic, romantic but real, Rovinj offers more than just scenery. It offers the feeling of time suspended, where each turn down an alleyway reveals a new chapter in a story that began centuries ago. Split, a living palace by the sea. At the heart of Dalmatia's coast, where the past refuses to fade and the present thrives within its walls, lies Split, a city built inside a Roman emperor's palace. Diocletian's palace, constructed in the 4th century AD by the retired Roman Emperor Diocletian, is not a monument you visit. It's a neighborhood you live in. The stone walls that once guarded imperial secrets now house homes, shops, cafes, and cathedrals. The city pulses through them like blood through veins. Designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the palace complex spans over 30,000 square meters and includes more than 200 buildings, all integrated into Split's Old Town. The peristyle, the grand colonnaded courtyard, remains the spiritual center, where locals gather, street performers charm, and classical concerts echo under moonlight. The Cathedral of St. Domnius, originally Diocletian's mausoleum, is considered the oldest Catholic cathedral still in use, and its bell tower offers commanding views over the city and sea. What makes Split so extraordinary is its seamless fusion of eras. Roman columns support medieval churches. Gothic arches frame Renaissance palaces. Laundry lines stretch above ancient cobblestone alleys. The architecture tells the story of Byzantine bishops, Venetian traders, Habsburg governors, and modern artists. Split is also a city of rhythm and energy. Along the Riva, the city's bustling waterfront promenade, palm trees sway beside outdoor cafes, and music floats through the air. Locals gather here each evening for their daily ritual of špika, a leisurely coffee, a stroll, and catching up on life. Just beyond the palace walls lies Marjan Hill, a forested park perfect for hiking, cycling, or simply gazing out over the harbor and nearby islands. Its viewpoints offer some of the best sunsets in Croatia. Meanwhile, Bakvice Beach, only a short walk from the city center, invites locals to play Pisađen, a uniquely split-borne water sport where players bat a small ball in shallow water without letting it drop. Culturally, Split is a powerhouse. It's home to the Split Summer Festival, one of Croatia's oldest performing arts festivals, and the Meštrović Gallery, showcasing works by Croatia's most celebrated sculptor, Ivan Meštrović. Yet Split is also the launchpad to the nearby islands of Hvar, Brač, and Vis, making it a hub for both discovery and escape. In Split, history is not confined to museums. It's embedded in the stone you walk on and the stories told over wine. It is a living city, and like its people, it's proud, passionate, and full of life. Korčula and Novalja, two faces of the Adriatic spirit. Korčula, the elegant island of legends, nicknamed Little Dubrovnik for its fortified walls and red-roofed old town, Korčula combines the elegance of medieval architecture with the calm of island life. Located just off the southern Dalmatian coast, this island has a rich heritage shaped by Greeks, Romans, Venetians, and Slavs, all of whom left their mark on its stone streets, art, and customs. The old town of Korčula, laid out in a fishbone pattern to minimize sea winds and maximize defense, is a labyrinth of narrow lanes that open into sun-drenched courtyards. At its heart stands the Cathedral of St. Mark, an exquisite example of Gothic Renaissance architecture with a beautifully carved portal and bell tower that provides sweeping views of the Pelješac Channel. Legend holds that Marco Polo was born here, and although Venice disputes the claim, a small museum and historic home celebrate Korčula's ties to the legendary explorer. Traditional Moresca sword dances, once used to tell epic tales of Christian and Moorish battles, are still performed today by costumed locals with remarkable flair and precision. The island is also known for its wine and olive oil, especially the white Gurk grape, which grows exclusively in the sandy soils near Lumbarda. Korčula's landscape is a mosaic of vineyards, pine forests, and quiet coves perfect for swimming, kayaking, or simply drifting beneath the sun. Novalja, the pulse of Pag Island. On the northern side of Pag Island, facing the open sea and the spirit of youth, lies Novalja, a town of stark contrast to Korčula's quiet nobility. This is the land of Zrća Beach, often dubbed the Ibiza of Croatia. By day, it's a sun-drenched beach of white pebbles and electric blue waters. By night, it transforms into a high-octane playground of music, lights, and international DJs who headline beachside clubs like Papaya, Aquarius, and Noah. Yet Novalja is more than a party scene. The town's roots stretch back to Roman times. You can still visit the Roman aqueduct, known as the Talijanova Buja, which once supplied water to the ancient city. The Museum of Novalja showcases local archaeology and ethnography, and quieter nearby beaches like Kaska and Planjka provide peaceful alternatives to Zrća's intensity. Pag Island itself offers even more variety. The barren, lunar-like interior, sculpted by wind and salt, hides treasures like the famous Pag cheese, Bashkisar, a hard sheep's cheese with a sharp, salty flavor shaped by the island's herb-rich pastures. Traditional lacemaking, recognized by UNESCO, thrives in the town of Pag and is passed down through generations of skilled artisans. Together, Korčula and Novalja showcase two distinct expressions of Croatian island life, one serene and storied, the other vibrant and modern. Between them, they reveal the full spectrum of what makes the Adriatic so endlessly captivating. Pula, the eternal arena of Istria. In the southern tip of Istria, where the land dips toward the shimmering Adriatic, stands the city of Pula, a living mosaic of Roman grandeur, Venetian charm, and modern coastal vibrancy. The city's crown jewel, the Pula Arena, rises like a colossus above the harbor. Built in the 1st century AD, it is one of the best-preserved Roman amphitheaters in the world, and the only one with all 4 side towers and 3 levels of colonnades fully intact. Originally capable of seating over 20,000 spectators, the arena once echoed with the roars of gladiators and the cries of the crowd. Today, it hosts concerts, film festivals, and opera under the stars. When illuminated at night, it becomes a radiant skeleton of stone, an unforgettable centerpiece for events that bridge antiquity and contemporary culture. Yet Pula's Roman roots run deeper still. Just beyond the amphitheater lies the Arch of the Sergi, a triumphal arch commemorating a victorious Roman family, and the Temple of Augustus, a perfectly proportioned temple standing in the old Forum Square, flanked by Renaissance and Baroque facades. The underground tunnels, known as the Zerostrasse, built during World War I, weave a second city beneath the modern one, a reminder of Pula's strategic importance through the ages. Pula has long been a maritime and naval center, first under Roman rule, then the Venetians, and later the Austro-Hungarians, who turned it into a major naval base. Traces of this legacy remain in the naval shipyards, fortresses, and the naval cemetery, one of the oldest in Europe. The city is also a gateway to the Brijuni Islands, a national park and former summer residence of Yugoslav leader Josip Broz Tito, now home to ancient Roman villas, safari animals, and rare plant species. Modern Pula is a vibrant urban hub. Its streets bustle with university students, seafood markets, music venues, and the scent of grilled Istrian plukanci pasta or Boshkarin beef. Coastal promenades lead to crystal-clear beaches like Hawaiian Beach and Umbrella, while the Verudela Peninsula offers family-friendly resorts and water sports. Pula is a city where history is never static. It performs, illuminates, and evolves, inviting travelers to step not only into its past, but into its heartbeat. Mljet, the green soul of the Adriatic. In the southernmost reaches of Croatia's island chain, wrapped in legend and blanketed in green, lies Mljet, often called the most forested island in the Adriatic. Known for its mythic beauty, pristine lakes, and deep tranquility, Mljet offers something increasingly rare: isolation without desolation. It's a place to breathe, to listen, and to wander through a world that still whispers of myth. According to ancient tales, Mljet is the island where Odysseus was shipwrecked and held captive by the nymph Calypso. Standing on the cliffs above the sea, watching waves crash into the rugged limestone, it's easy to imagine why this legend endures. The island's topography is dramatic. Its coast is steep and craggy, while its interior softens into a haven of pine forests, olive groves, and aromatic herbs. Mljet's most celebrated feature is its national park, which occupies nearly a third of the island. At its heart are two saltwater lakes, Veliko Jezero, Great Lake, and Malo Jezero, Small Lake, which are connected to the sea by a narrow channel. Their colors shift with the sky, sometimes emerald, sometimes cobalt, and they are encircled by walking and biking paths shaded by Aleppo pines. On a small islet in the middle of Veliko Jezero stands the Benedictine monastery of Saint Mary, built in the 12th century. Accessible by boat, this spiritual retreat seems to hover between lake and sky. Surrounded by cypress trees and cloaked in silence, it offers a rare moment of stillness, a sacred pause in time. Mljet is also an ecological treasure. Its waters teem with fish, coral, and sponges, while its forests shelter mongoose, introduced in the early 20th century to reduce snake populations. The flora is diverse, with over 1,200 plant species, many endemic or protected. The lack of large-scale development and a small resident population, fewer than 1,100 people, have helped preserve the island's timeless, unspoiled charm. Despite its seclusion, Mljet is not without hospitality. In the village of Pomena, small family-run guest houses serve local specialties like grilled octopus, goat cheese, and homemade wine. Kayaks and bikes are available for hire, allowing travelers to explore the island at a gentle pace, in harmony with its natural rhythm. To visit Mljet is to surrender, to quiet, to slowness, and to the sense that paradise need not be loud to be profound. Trogir, a stone labyrinth of timeless grace. Just 27 kilometers west of Split, where the mainland leans into the sea and the past spills into the present, sits Trogir, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that feels like a perfectly preserved time capsule. Occupying a small island connected to both the mainland and the island of Chiovo by bridges, Trogir is a living museum of stone, a 2,000-year-old city compressed into a walkable labyrinth of architectural gems. Originally founded by Greek colonists from the island of Vis in the 3rd century BC, Trogir flourished under Roman, Byzantine, and Venetian rule. The result is a town that reflects layers of civilization in every carved lintel, vaulted passageway, and sunlit square. At its heart stands the Cathedral of St. Lawrence, Sveti Lovre, begun in the 13th century and finished several hundred years later, resulting in a unique blend of Romanesque, Gothic, and Renaissance styles. The cathedral's crowning jewel is the Radovan Portal, an intricately carved Romanesque entranceway filled with biblical scenes, mythical beasts, and local life, frozen in limestone. Climb the bell tower for a sweeping view over the rooftops and turquoise sea. Opposite the cathedral lies Kipiko Palace, once home to Trogir's noble families, its facade adorned with Gothic windows and family crests. The Camerlengo fortress, built in the 15th century by the Venetians, anchors the town at the edge of the sea and now serves as a cultural venue and sunset lookout. Wandering Trogir's marble-paved streets, you'll encounter churches, loggias, stone balconies, and hidden courtyards, each one whispering stories of merchants, sailors, and artisans. Unlike many tourist destinations, Trogir retains an authentic local life. Children play football in the squares. Fishermen unload their catch at dawn. Elderly residents sit on stoops in the afternoon sun, exchanging gossip and watching the world pass by. Along the seafront promenade, yachts and fishing boats line the quay. The scent of grilled sea bass and fresh rosemary drifts from waterfront taverns, where guests sip Babich wine or Travarica, a traditional herb brandy. At night, the stone glows amber under soft lighting, and live music fills the alleys during the summer season. Trogir is not just a historic site, it's a breathing, pulsing, inhabited artwork, where every step is a brushstroke and every view a painting. It is small enough to explore in a day, yet rich enough to remember for a lifetime. Zlatni Rat, the golden horn of the Adriatic. On the southern shores of Brač, the largest island in central Dalmatia, nature has crafted a wonder so unique that it defies repetition. Zlatni Rat, often referred to as the Golden Horn or Golden Cape. This striking beach extends like a white dagger into the turquoise Adriatic, shifting subtly in shape and direction with the changing tides, currents, and wind, a living sculpture drawn by nature's hand. Formed from fine white pebbles, not sand, Zlatni Rat's shoreline stretches nearly 600 meters, flanked on both sides by the clearest of waters. The beach narrows to a pointed tip that curls ever so slightly, depending on the sea's mood. A dense pine forest, planted long ago, borders the beach's inland edge and provides shade, picnic spots, and the occasional whiff of resin in the summer air. What makes Zlatni Rat exceptional isn't just its beauty, but its geological oddity. It sits on a submarine reef, and the interplay between Brač's steep coastal drop-off and undersea currents continually rearranges the pebble spit, sometimes imperceptibly, sometimes dramatically. Aerial photos show its ever-changing shape, making it one of the most photographed beaches in Croatia and Europe. For windsurfers and kitesurfers, Zlatni Rat is a paradise. The maestral, a predictable afternoon wind, makes the western edge of the beach ideal for gliding across the water. On the eastern side, calmer waters welcome families and swimmers. Beneath the surface, snorkelers and divers explore rocky ledges and schools of fish that circle the seabed. Nearby lies the town of Bol, a charming harbor settlement with stone alleys, vineyards, and seaside promenades. It's home to the Stina Winery, where you can taste wines grown on the island's steep karst slopes. The island itself is famous for Brač stone, a brilliant white limestone used in iconic buildings like Diocletian's Palace in Split, and, allegedly, even the White House in Washington, D.C. From Vidova Gora, the highest peak of any Adriatic island at 778 meters, Zlatni Rat reveals itself in full splendor, an elegant streak of gold against the blue-green sea. It's a sight that turns even seasoned travelers into poets. Zagreb, the elegant pulse of the nation. Zagreb, Croatia's capital and largest city, is a place where Central European poise meets Mediterranean warmth. With nearly 1 million residents in its metropolitan area, Zagreb is not just the political and economic heart of the country, it's the cultural, intellectual, and artistic engine that powers modern Croatia. Divided historically into two distinct districts, Gornji Grad, Upper Town, and Donji Grad, Lower Town, Zagreb offers visitors a journey through centuries in just a few tram stops. The Upper Town, a medieval maze of cobbled streets, is where Zagreb began. Here, you'll find St. Mark's Church, instantly recognizable by its colorful tiled roof, displaying the coats of arms of Zagreb and the former kingdom of Croatia. Just steps away stands the Croatian Parliament and Lodršćak Tower, where a cannon has been fired every day at noon since the 19th century. A few meters downhill, you enter the 19th century elegance of the Lower Town, laid out in grand boulevards and verdant squares. This area boasts Austro-Hungarian architecture, expansive parks, and cultural institutions like the Croatian National Theatre, whose golden yellow facade is home to ballet, opera, and classical music. The Mimara Museum, housing a vast art collection, and the Museum of Broken Relationships, one of Europe's quirkiest and most emotionally resonant museums, reflect the city's rich and varied cultural landscape. Zagreb is also a city of markets and coffee culture. The Dolac Market, with its rows of red umbrellas, is a buzzing hub of fresh produce, flowers, cheeses, and local specialties like kulen and sir I vranje, fresh cheese with cream. Coffee isn't rushed here, it's a ritual. Locals spend hours at sidewalk cafes, engaged in conversation, watching the world stroll by. In winter, Zagreb transforms into a festive wonderland. Its advent in Zagreb celebration, repeatedly voted one of the best Christmas markets in Europe, fills the streets with lights, music, mulled wine, and open-air skating rinks. In spring, chestnut trees bloom along the Strassmayer Promenade, and in summer, music festivals and food trucks take over the city's parks. Modern Zagreb is dynamic and forward-looking, yet still anchored in tradition. Whether you're admiring the neo-Gothic Zagreb Cathedral, hiking up to Maksimir Park, or catching a tram through the heart of the city, Zagreb offers a layered experience where every corner holds a story and every street hums with understated vitality. Šibenik, stone, sea, and sacred architecture. Where the Krka River meets the Adriatic, Šibenik rises in a cascade of stone, its old town clinging to the hillside, its fortresses watching over the sea, and its narrow alleys brimming with echoes of the past. Unlike many Croatian coastal cities, Šibenik wasn't built by Greeks or Romans. It was founded by Croats, making it one of the few cities on the Dalmatian coast with native Croatian origins. Its most iconic feature is the Cathedral of St. James, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a masterpiece of Renaissance architecture. Constructed entirely from white limestone between 1431 and 1535, the cathedral is unique in the world for being built without mortar or wood. Its structural precision, combined with artistic detail, makes it an architectural marvel. Its frieze of 71 sculpted heads, thought to represent real townspeople of the time, lends the cathedral both grandeur and humanity. The old town of Šibenik is a labyrinth of steep staircases, arched passageways, and stone plazas where music often spills out from behind wooden shutters. 4 historic fortresses once guarded the city, 2 of which, St. Michael's and Barone, have been beautifully restored and now host concerts, festivals, and panoramic views over the bay. At night, the illuminated city glows like a tapestry of light woven into the hillside. Šibenik is also a city of arts and culture. The annual International Children's Festival, held every summer since 1958, brings artists and performers from around the world to the city's open-air stages. Meanwhile, Dalmatian klapa music, traditional a cappella singing, floats through its courtyards and alleyways like a hymn to the sea. A short distance from the city lies the St. Nicholas Fortress, guarding the entrance to the St. Anthony Channel. Built on a small islet in the 16th century, this Venetian naval fortress, now a UNESCO site, is one of the finest examples of Renaissance military architecture on the Adriatic. Šibenik also serves as a perfect gateway to Krka National Park and the Kornati Islands, making it an ideal base for nature lovers. Yet even within the city, the waterfront promenade, charming beaches like Banj, and lively markets offer plenty to explore. At its core, Šibenik is a city of transitions between river and sea, past and future, stone and soul. It may not scream for attention like Dubrovnik or Split, but for those who listen closely, it speaks with depth and authenticity. Makarska Riviera, between mountain and sea. Stretching along 60 kilometers of Croatia's southern coastline, the Makarska Riviera is where drama meets elegance, a place where the jagged peaks of Biokovo Mountain plunge into the shimmering Adriatic. This spectacular contrast defines the region, attracting travelers with a blend of natural beauty, beachside charm, and outdoor adventure. At the center of the Riviera is the town of Makarska, a lively yet laid-back coastal hub that wraps around a horseshoe-shaped bay. Its palm-lined Riva promenade bustles with cafes, ice cream parlors, and local artisans selling lavender products, olive oil, and handmade jewelry. The town's main square, framed by the Church of St. Mark and backed by the towering mountain, hosts open-air concerts, folklore shows, and fresh produce markets. Just above the town, the Biokovo Nature Park offers hiking trails, scenic viewpoints, and the famed Skywalk, a horseshoe-shaped glass platform extending over the cliffside at 1,228 meters above sea level. From here, on clear days, you can see Italy across the sea. The park is home to endemic plant species, wild horses, ibexes, and birds of prey, making it a haven for ecotourism. The beaches of Makarska Riviera are among the most beautiful in Croatia, known for their fine white pebbles and incredibly clear water. Villages like Brela, Baška Voda, Tučepi, and Podgora offer a more tranquil alternative to Makarska's bustle. Punta Rada Beach in Brela, crowned by a solitary pine-covered rock, is often listed among Europe's top beaches. Water activities abound. Sailing, paddleboarding, scuba diving, and parasailing are all part of the summer rhythm. Inland, olive groves, vineyards, and small family farms offer agritourism experiences where you can taste homemade rakića, prosciutto, and traditional Dalmatian peka, meat or seafood slow-cooked under an iron dome. Makarska itself is also home to Croatia's Seashell Museum, with one of the most extensive shell collections in Europe. But perhaps its greatest treasure is its balance between mountain air and salty breezes, between sleepy afternoons and lively nights. Whether you're chasing sunsets, exploring caves, or just savoring gelato on the promenade, the Makarska Riviera offers a slice of Adriatic life in all its dazzling form. Vis Island, the Adriatic's best-kept secret. Isolated, untamed, and steeped in mystery, Vis Island is the furthest inhabited island off Croatia's mainland, and its most enigmatic. Closed to foreign visitors until 1989 Due to its strategic military role under Yugoslavia, Vis developed differently from its neighboring islands. It's quieter, greener, and rich with both wartime intrigue and timeless Mediterranean beauty. The island is dotted with stone villages, vineyards, olive groves, and hidden coves, accessible only by foot or boat. Life moves slowly here, shaped by the tides and the wind. In Komiđa, a postcard-perfect fishing village on the western coast, narrow alleys spill down to the harbor where old wooden boats bob beside seafood restaurants and stone houses weathered by centuries. This is also the birthplace of the falkusha, a traditional fishing boat once used for long sea journeys, now preserved as a cultural icon. On the eastern side, the town of Vis sits on the site of an ancient Greek colony known as Isa, established in the 4th century BC. Ruins of Roman baths, a necropolis, and an amphora museum recall Vis's role as a key maritime hub in the ancient world. During World War II, Vis served as a base for Allied forces, and remnants of tunnels, bunkers, and Tito's cave headquarters can still be explored on guided tours. But Vis's most mesmerizing feature is its water. The blue cave, Modra Špilja, on the nearby islet of Biševo, is a natural marvel. Sunlight passes through an underwater opening, flooding the cave with an ethereal blue glow. Accessible by boat, the cave has become one of the island's must-see wonders. Elsewhere, Stinova Beach, tucked between towering cliffs, was voted Europe's best beach in 2016. Vis is also a wine island. Its fertile soil and dry climate produce Vugava, an ancient white grape varietal once served to Roman emperors. Local winemakers like Lepanović and Rokis offer tastings in atmospheric cellars carved into the hillside. There are no massive resorts here, no cruise crowds, no aggressive commercialization, just the scent of pine, the call of cicadas, and the sense that you found a pocket of time untouched by the rush of the world. Motovun, Istria's hilltop time capsule. High above the Mirna River Valley, encircled by stone walls and ancient oak forests, rises Motovun, a hilltop town that looks as though it was plucked from a medieval fairy tale. Located in the heart of Istria, this fortified village is one of Croatia's most magical inland destinations, offering sweeping views, rich cultural history, and the intoxicating aroma of white truffles in the autumn air. Originally built by the Illyrians and later developed by the Romans and Venetians, Motovun's defensive layout and Gothic Renaissance buildings reflect its strategic and artistic importance over the centuries. Its narrow, winding streets lead to St. Stephen's Church, built in the 17th century and modeled after Venetian designs. Beside it, a 13th century bell tower, once used as a lookout post, now stands as Motovun's defining landmark. Surrounding the town is Istria's truffle belt. The dense forests below are famed for yielding tuber magnatum pico, the prized white truffle, as well as black truffles year-round. In the fall, Motovun becomes the epicenter of truffle hunting season, with festivals, tastings, and guided excursions with trained dogs. Local dishes, like truffle-infused pasta, frittata, and cheese, have become regional delicacies. Each July, the town also hosts the Motovun Film Festival, which transforms its plazas and stone terraces into open-air cinemas. Independent films from around the globe are shown beneath the stars, drawing a bohemian crowd and adding a layer of modern vibrancy to the historic setting. Beyond the village, the surrounding landscape offers hiking and cycling paths that wind through vineyards, olive groves, and picturesque hamlets. The nearby Motovun forest, once considered haunted, is now a nature lover's haven. The Peranzana Trail, a repurposed narrow-gauge railway line, runs past the town and offers stunning scenic views over rolling hills. Motovun is not only a place to visit, it's a place to linger. With each step across its worn cobblestones, you feel the echoes of history, the rhythm of seasons, and the kind of peace only found in villages where the fog rolls in slowly and the nights are lit by stars, not streetlights. Omiš, the pirate city in the canyon. Nestled between the majestic gorges of the Cetina River and the crystal-clear waters of the Adriatic, Omiš represents an extraordinary example of how nature and history can merge in perfect harmony. The steep rocky walls surrounding the ancient fortified city were once the impenetrable refuge of Dalmatian pirates, who controlled the Adriatic trade routes from here. The medieval fortresses, perched on the surrounding heights, still testify to the glorious past of this city, while the mighty Cetina River has carved one of the most spectacular canyons in the entire region over millennia. Opatija, the Adriatic's original seaside resort. Along the Kvarner coast stretches the elegant Opatija, the first seaside resort of the Adriatic. Splendid Austro-Hungarian-style palaces line the seafront, bearing witness to the golden age when emperors and artists chose this location as their favorite refuge. The scent of camellias, the city's symbolic flower, mingles with the sea breeze, while the botanical gardens preserve rare species from every corner of the world. The mild climate and therapeutic waters have made this place a wellness tourism destination since the 19th century, when European nobility discovered the healing properties of its unique microclimate. Lošinj, the island of vitality. In the Kvarner archipelago emerges an island where the scent of Mediterranean scrub blends with the salty sea air. The surrounding waters host a resident population of dolphins, while majestic griffon vultures soar in the sky, making this place a natural sanctuary of extraordinary importance. The richness of local flora, with over 1,100 species of aromatic and medicinal plants, has created a microclimate unique in the world, which already attracted the attention of Austro-Hungarian aristocracy in the 1800s. Furthermore, the distinctive ports of Mali Lošinj and Veli Lošinj preserve intact the charm of their Venetian architecture, while the ancient patrician villas tell stories of sea captains and a flourishing shipbuilding industry. Brijuni National Park, where nature, history, and diplomacy meet. An archipelago of 14 islands off the Istrian coast, Brijuni National Park is a terrestrial paradise where nature, history, and luxury harmoniously blend. The main island, Veliki Brijun, tells millennia of history starting from dinosaurs, whose footprints are still visible along the coast. A safari park hosts exotic animals, legacies of diplomatic gifts received by the Yugoslav leader. Moreover, verdant meadows alternate with Mediterranean scrub, while ancient olive trees testify to a mild climate, fostering a vegetation with over 700 plant species. The crystal-clear waters surrounding the islands conceal submerged archaeological treasures, remnants of Roman and Byzantine villas. Conclusion. Concluding this visual journey through Croatia, we have moved from the charm of its landscapes to its most famous cities, discovering together not only places, but also curiosities that make every corner of this country unique. We hope the images and stories shared have enriched your knowledge and ignited the desire to explore personally the varied beauty of this nation. If you've enjoyed this video, please like this video and subscribe for amazing travel videos.